Welcome to Subramani. Like they say, please click on the bell icon, please like and share the videos. These videos are pretty useful for most people, so sorry, but I need to blow my own trumpet sometimes. Okay, today we are going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about what should you be doing in your 30s. I've done a video of what you should be doing in your 20s. In fact, on my blog, I've written in the past what you should be doing in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. So again, I'm doing this on what should you be doing in your 30s. 30s is that stage when you're taking almost all your big decisions. So if you are a boy or a girl, 30s is the age when you get married, maybe 28, 29. So when I say 30s, it does not mean exactly 30th birthday. It could mean anything from 28 to 42. For different people, it will happen at different stages, right? So if you're a woman, maybe you're getting married at 28. If you're a man, maybe you're getting married at 32, whatever. So your marriage, you're buying a house, you're repaying a lot of loans, you are also involving yourself slightly, if not too much, with your parents' finances, asking them what's happening and all that. You're having children, and therefore you are going to now be worried about how much insurance you have, how much you need, etc. It's also time when you're making your will. It's also time when you're documenting your papers and making sure that in case you drop dead, people think about death at the age of 30 to 33. So somewhere in your 30s. So all your important financial things are happening now. So what are the things that you must do? I mean, obviously all this which I've enumerated you will do, but financially speaking, one, advance your career. In your 20s you built up, right? In your 20s you were educating yourself. Maybe till 25 you were studying, 25 and a half you were studying. So 3-4 years you were consolidating, you were seeing what you were good at, you were working as a chartered accountant, but you were writing in your company magazine on politics or on anything. You were honing your writing skills. Suddenly in your 30s you want to see whether your formal education plus your hobby plus your liking is all able to help you in your career, right? You want to find your ikigai. That's a great time to be doing that. Maybe you need to travel, maybe you need to also look for a job outside the country. If you are in a country which is growing at a good pace and you have a good job, that's great. But if you find that you have better prospects abroad, like for example, I know I was talking to somebody about a physiotherapist. Now, physiotherapist is not a very greatly rewarded profession in India. Yes, it is reasonably rewarded, but you get much better compensated if you go abroad, right? I mean, this is true for almost every profession, and especially for where huge skills are involved. Like if you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a lawyer, there's huge demand for you outside. So maybe this is a time to be developing your career. So first step is whatever advancement is needed in your career, whether you're a man or a woman. Now don't tell me that because there is a child you cannot work. Find some solution. Don't regret later on saying I wish I had worked and things like that. Domestic help is available. Use domestic help. Maybe stay in a joint family for the first 4-5 years. Whatever it is, do whatever it requires to advance your career. Don't then regret saying I wish I had done this. It's perfectly possible that you don't want to advance your career, you want to look after your kid. That's also fine, but make sure that it is a well thought of weighted decision rather than just an emotional decision saying, oh, my kid needs me, whatever it is. So make sure that you're advancing your career, whatever you want to do, you do it. Somewhere in your 20s you may have sat down and made a budget and you were sticking to it. Now that's fantastic. If you have not done it, this is a great time to be starting to saving, investing, etc. Write down your goals and say, okay, this goal I need so much, this goal I need so much, this goal. This is a short-term goal. In 3 years, I'm going to have a baby. Or in say 10 years, I need to move to a bigger house. In 20 years, I need to retire. So some are short-term goals, some are long-term goals, some are very long-term goals, right? So put all your goals in place and make sure that you're allocating enough money to each of those. If you are not allocating money, then it's not a goal. It is just a a wish list, right? Saying I need to reduce my weight, and then find that I'm eating every sweet piece of sugar that comes my way. That's not the way to do it, right? So write down and adequately provide enough energy for each of those goals so that those goals are achieved. So rethinking your budget and redoing your budget, that's important. Getting your asset allocation right. Putting too much money in equity can be bad, putting too little money in equity can be bad. In your 30s, you have to get your asset allocation right. It's very important. If you are very comfortable, if you come from a rich family which has always invested in equities, then your asset allocation can be more favoring equities. But if you are from a family which has never invested in equities, then be very careful as to how much you want to put in equities. 30s is the time when you make a start. This is the time when you can be 70-80% in equities, very, very broadly speaking. Tactically, you may need some money in 2 years or 3 years, which may be in debt, but largely, broadly, you can be 70-80% in equity, because anyway, for Indians, your provident fund, etc., is largely debt. So even if you're 100% in equity in your own investments, your provident fund, PPF, which everybody puts 1.5 lakhs, all that will ensure that you're 70% or 80% in equity and not 100%. Recheck your insurance coverage. This is the good time to be looking at your insurance coverage. Make sure that the nominees are right. If you made your mother the nominee, perfectly all right. You bought a house, you had a 20 lakh rupee loan where you made your mother the nominee, because that was the time when you had borrowed money maybe from your mama and your masi. So you wanted your mother to get the money and repay them in the worst case scenario. But now you got a 2 crore loan to buy a house. Make sure that now the nominee is your wife, because she is the joint holder. She is also earning, you are also earning, you bought. So make sure that the nominations are right. Make sure that all your documentation names are right. I can't even believe that I have invested in a mutual fund where they got my name spelling wrong. They are supposed to pick it up from my PAN card, from my KYC. In my KYC it is not wrong, but they have made a mistake, which could be a typing mistake. And I think it's ridiculous. But make sure that your documentations are right? Like Subramaniam spelled with an I or with a Y, and some extra alphabet in your name. Any of these things could mean disaster, and you will never be able to sort it out after your death. So make sure that your documentation is right. Make sure, if you're a woman and you've changed your name, make sure that all the places the name in your Aadhaar card, PAN card, passport, bank account, everywhere it should be the new name. The old name can't be there. So if you are going to call yourself whatever, let's say Pooja Alok Patel or whatever you want to call yourself, or you're not going to use your old name, you're going to use your new name. Make sure that that perfect name is there in your PAN card, and that should be the name which your husband is also using when he nominates you, right? So for example, Pooja Rajesh Patel is very different from Pooja R Patel, or Kathy R Shah is very different from Kathy Rajendra Shah, right? So you have to be careful about your name being right, and whatever name you're going to use, make sure that your documentation is right, your insurance is right, all your asset allocation is right. This is the time when you should be doing all this. Also, I will look at what your parents are doing. Make sure that they are not made any of these mistakes, right? It's a great time to be repaying all your non-mortgage debts, whatever, personal loan, the car loan, etc., as quickly as possible. Very rarely will you get great returns in income in equity markets over long periods of time. If you have a 8-year, 9-year car loan at whatever rate, say 12%, very unlikely that you will get a return in your total portfolio of greater than 12%. A mortgage, let it continue, but car loan, personal loan, honeymoon loan, whatever loans you have taken, all that goes through the roof and you get paid off. This is a great time to be checking what is your CIBIL score and making sure that both husband and wife keep on improving the CIBIL score. Please get yourself that CIBIL report and make sure that there are no mistakes in the report. India is a great country, fantastic on technology, but make sure that there are no big mistakes in your investments or in your debt papers, right? Check out on how much of emergency fund balance that you have. it's a time when you may have to need a little more. I mean, the COVID has taught us that suddenly things could go wrong, right? So maybe a little more increase in emergency fund. Keeping it in the bank account is perfectly all right. Keep it in your name, wife's name, whatever, so that both of you will be able to access it on your ATM card. So make sure that happens, because each ATM card, suppose your ATM card has a limit of 50,000, then at least husband and wife can each withdraw 50,000 rupees, right? Make sure that you have 1 or 2 credit cards which you can use in an emergency to admit somebody in a hospital, mother, father, neighbor, brother, sister, anybody, right? So make sure that that is in place, and